Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Amtrak Vacations webinar. Again, I am super excited to be here with you all folks today. So I want to, of course, not only introduce myself as the presenter of the webinar, but also, of course, be going over so many great, wonderful rail vacation packages and destinations along the way. So we're going to begin here in just a moment for any of the last minute stragglers who are coming in to our presentation today. Okay, so just give you about just a moment here as we begin. We definitely have a huge crowd of people today, so I'm super excited to be going over some great rail vacation packages and destinations when it comes to our U.S. national parks. So perfect, it is right now 11 o'clock, so welcome aboard everyone to today's Amtrak Vacations webinar. Again, I am your host, Tyler Wallinger. I am the Business Development Executive Rep for Amtrak Vacations, Rail Bookers, and Yankee Holidays. And today we'll be talking about national parks by rail. So I will be your conductor, taking you through this magical and train-tastic adventure as we explore the U.S. national parks by rail. So for folks, before we begin though, I always like to have some fun here on my presentation, and I want to ask you folks where you are joining from today. So if you're joining from Southern California or even on the East Coast, I'd love to know where you guys are all joining from. Wonderful. Thank you so much already from Philadelphia. Perfect. Keep them coming, folks. Keep them coming. I love to make sure where are you joining from today. Vegas. Awesome. Love it. Pittsburgh. Okay, great. Wonderful. Keep them coming, folks. Southern California. Thank you, Beth. Awesome. Washington, Thousand Oaks, California. Wonderful. Keep them coming, folks. Awesome. Awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah, wonderful, great places. So, Iowa, Missouri, thank you. Anaheim, ooh, local here, very great for folks. So thank you so much again for joining today's webinar, and I have exciting, wonderful information to share with you all. And as you can see here, I am a rail enthusiast, and I love my job every single day. So I hope that you folks can get to enjoy today's training webinar as well. And by the way, folks, on the right-hand corner of your screen, there is that questionnaire box. I promise that at the end of the presentation, I'll schedule some time to be able to go into those questions in detail and, of course, answer them throughout the presentation. So the presentation or show should be about 35 to 40 minutes, give or take. But if we do have, I'll make sure we schedule some time at the end to answer those questions in detail. So everyone, welcome aboard. And today we'll be covering quite a lot of our, not only the visiting of the national parks by rail, but also insider tips on those U.S. national parks. I'll be able to give you those insider tips. We're not going to talk about just one or two. We're going to talk about multiple rail vacation packages when it comes to the multiple parks to traveling to like Yellowstone, Yosemite, Grand Canyon, just to name a few. We'll also talk about what the private sleeping accommodations are like on board Amtrak and what routes you could be able to take along on some of our vacation packages. Also, we'll talk about how Amtrak is providing a safe environment during this time. So folks, climb on board with me as we travel through this virtual train tour of our most popular U.S. national parks. Now, folks, for those of you who are very new to this presentation, or maybe this is your first time, I want to, of course, go over our family brands in a little bit of detail with you. So just so you, of course, are aware. So Yankee Holidays has been around for 48 years. It started back in 1972. It's our drive-in brand. For those of you who like to drive in the car and see, of course, those popular U.S. national parks, or even those popular getaway destinations like Washington, D.C., San Francisco, Chicago, Seattle, just to name a few, and even up into Canada. So if you're looking to travel up to Banff National Park, Jasper, all by drive-in vacation, that is Yankee Holidays. And then to our left is Amtrak Vacations. So Amtrak Vacations is just like Yankee Holidays, but with the Amtrak rail component, where we can get you into those U.S. national parks by train. And folks, on our right is Rail Bookers. So Rail Bookers is our international brand of rail travel, where we travel, we can take you folks all the way to Europe, Canada, Alaska, Europe, Asia, Africa, and beyond. That's all by with Rail Bookers. And folks, we can do everything from the rail, the hotel, the sightseeing tours, transfers, you name it, all package it together for you folks, that you folks can be able to have that peace of mind where we, of course, can be able to take care of your next dream vacation. And now, folks, I want to show you this wonderful map here. And folks, at the end of the presentation, we'll get a recording of this webinar. So if there's any pictures that you would like, you can take it from webinar, or we'll also send those to you in detail. But folks, where can can you travel by train? Well, I'll show you. You could do short getaway trips like from New York City all the way down to Washington, D.C., either on the Acela Express or the Northeast Regional, just to name a few iconic trains. Or you could do even maybe a little more of an extensive vacation, traveling from Chicago down to New Orleans and be able to visit the famous Bayou and head back up in Chicago and make that a round trip experience. Or maybe you folks who really want the train experience, and I'm sure you do out there for those who've never traveled Amtrak before, you could be able to travel from Chicago, maybe down to Los Angeles on the Southwest Chief, stopping and visiting Grand Canyon National Park. Maybe you also want to visit the beautiful Pacific Coast as you're traveling the Coast Starlight up into Seattle, Washington, visit the Emerald City, and then head over to Glacier National Park to visit, of course, the Swiss Alps of the US, and then heading over to Chicago on the Empire Builder. So again, we can do anything, anywhere, anytime when it comes to our rail vacation packages. And again, every part of our vacation packages are fully customizable. So when you're ready, we're ready to take you along with us on some of our most popular rail vacation packages and destinations, either in the US or internationally with rail bookers. But today we're going to talk about domestic rail travel for those of you who really want to be able to do something unique for next year, or maybe even as far as 2022. Any of our rail vacation packages can be fully booked as early as tomorrow to 24 months in advance. And you're probably asking yourself, well, Tyler, how is Amtrak doing right now in this current environment? Let me tell you. Number one, they're enhancing the cleaning protocol at all the stations and on board the train. So they're enhancing the cleaning protocol followed by the guidelines of the CDC. Facial coverings are required in the stations and on board the trains, folks. So that is a requirement. And again, they're just trying to follow the guidelines of the CDC. They're limiting bookings. So here's an important fact, folks. They're right now on board Amtrak, they're limiting their train capacity up to 50%. So only 50% capacity at this time. They're also, of course, making sure that they're providing fresh and clean air on board the trains. They have an air filtration system that breathes in fresh, clean air throughout the cabins, throughout the carriage, every 4 to 5 minutes, again, to make sure they have fresh, clean air. I'm so sorry, folks. And also, they're doing contactless when it comes to, making sure that, you don't have that hand-to-hand contact with the employee or train staff on board the trains, and also the passenger yourselves, like when it comes to purchasing a snack or even, ticket control. So all of it can be downloaded on your phone, or you can use your debit or credit card on board the trains to purchase a snack or a beverage. And then also, folks, we'll talk about the private rooms on board most of those many routes on board the train. Those are really a high commodity right now, is wanting to upgrade to your own private sleeping quarters, not only to have those additional benefits like a sleeping compartment, but also to practice social distancing. And folks, when you step off the train, you're going to be open to the wide open spaces of those U.S. national parks, anywhere from Glacier National Park, Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, you name it. We're going to get you into those national parks, and that's all by train, getting a great, unique way of travel. So, folks, as we're pulling in, we're heading into of course, the beautiful Grand Canyon National Park. This is our Rails to the Grand Canyon National Park package. This is I apologize. This is a 5-day, 4-night journey where you'll start and end in Los Angeles. So for those of you folks who are maybe located on the West Coast who really want to be able to visit Grand Canyon for next year, or even maybe they want to travel for the holiday season, this is a great package for you folks who are looking to travel with your family or friends or even your loved ones. The Grand Canyon is probably one of my favorite national parks in the world. It's actually 7 million people each year visit this 7th wonder of the world. So number 7 is a great number. But folks, of course, on board, if you see here on the map, there is that little red arrow with a real red line in it that actually indicates the number of nights on board the train. And then that little black dot with the numerical number in it, that actually indicates the number of nights stay in that destination, okay? So folks, we'll talk about that here in a second, but the Southwest Chief is actually the train route you'll be taking from Los Angeles Union Station to Williams, Arizona. And once you arrive in Williams, you'll be boarding the famous Grand Canyon Railway. But on the Southwest Chief, folks, you'll be traveling some beautiful canyonlands. There are different colorful rocks. You'll be seeing some, those lush plains. That's everything you could think of when you're traveling to the Southwest. This is that train, folks. And on board, this is an overnight sleeper train experience. We definitely recommend upgrading to either a roomette or a bedroom or even a family bedroom if you're traveling with some family. But folks, on the Grand Canyon Railway, this iconic train is definitely near and dear to my heart because I've traveled on this train not once, but twice. trips, once with my family for Christmas break, and then another time with my wife just to celebrate an anniversary. But this trip is definitely iconic. You'll be traveling through Williams, right on Route 66, up through to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. You'll be passing through different types of topography, the flatlands, the canyons, up into Khabib National Forest before you reach the south rim. But folks, for those of you who are not familiar with the Grand Canyon Railway, there's a couple different classes of service. So number one, there's coach class. Number two, there's first class. If you're willing to spend a little extra money, I highly recommend upgrading to first class. First class, you have a better, more comfortable seating. You also, of course, have extra leg room, and also, if you're traveling with, little ones, having the access to the snack bar where you can get free snacks and beverages such as coffees, teas, juices, waters, sodas is also nice to have. And then also the snacks such as pastries, chips, fruits, and vegetables. All of that is there. So for those of you folks who really want to do an iconic experience, the Grand Canyon Railway is just that. Also, on top of that, too, if you want to, upgrade even above first class, why not upgrade to the observation dome car? And for those of you who may be traveling for a special occasion like an anniversary or a birthday, you can even upgrade to the luxury parlor or luxury dome class. Here's the big benefit, folks. For those of you who maybe don't want to have children, around you, the luxury parlor class and the luxury dome class come up with where you children under the ages of 15 are not allowed in the car. Not to mention, you have also have access to the bar area where you can get beverages alike, and then also they have a champagne toast before you depart the south rim of the Grand Canyon. Of course, celebrating your adventure, exploring the Grand Canyon as you head back over to Williams. And folks, when you arrive at the Grand Canyon National Park, you're not just outside, like literally at the entrance of the national park, you're inside of the national park. You're literally footsteps away from the edge of the south rim of the Grand Canyon, folks. This is basically a map of the Grand Canyon Historic Village. As you see here, folks, this is maybe a little hard to see, but this is actually the Grand Canyon Railway train depot. Again, this is literally footsteps away from the south rim and also footsteps away from the famous and luxurious El Tovar Hotel, which, by the way, we do have partnerships with. So if you do want to be able to stay at the El Tovar Hotel, we can take care of that for you. Or if you wish, you can also work with your travel advisor. Your travel advisor can also help out with that as well. But folks, we also have hotels such as the Kachina Lodge, the Thunderbird Lodge, the Bright Angel Lodge, even the Maswick Lodge, which is over here. And by the way, they're actually doing a huge new renovation here pretty soon. So it's actually going to be really updated and to the that historic charm. But folks, there's a lot of great opportunities for you to visit Grand Canyon National Park and for you to explore. But included in our packages is our Grand Canyon National Park Freedom Round Trip Tour. It takes you literally as you get off the train, folks, your luggage is going to be taken care of by the Grand Canyon Railway staff, so you don't have to worry about a thing. They'll take it to your hotel, so you don't have to worry, and you'll be boarding right to these motor coach buses, which literally is about 10 footsteps away from the train platform. So again, very convenient, very wonderful to do. And this 2.5-hour tour will take you around the south rim of the Grand Canyon. This is a guided tour experience where you'll get to be able to get off on the bus and also take some great photoshops and video of the Grand Canyon. And you'd be surprised every time you get off that bus, there's always a better picture to take. I was very fortunate enough when I did this trip back with my family, we were able to see a California condor actually right nearby the bus. So, I'm sorry, it was with my wife. I'm sorry. It was with, but you were able to see a California condor. I thought that was probably one of the highlights of my trip was being able to see that California condor up close in person. But folks, also for those of you who maybe are morning birds, and some of you may say, Tyler, well, I'm not a morning bird. I don't like getting up so early. I'm on vacation. Why would you tell me to do that? Well, here's why. Folks, if you definitely are morning birds, are willing to do that, I highly recommend seeing the sunrise over the canyon. If you wake up early enough, you can be able to see the spectacular picturesque view of the Grand Canyon as multiple different colors come into play, such as shades of purple, shades of orange, yellow, reddish, pinks. All that is going to come to you as you get some really great pictures during that sunrise. And maybe those of you who are not staying at the El Tovar Hotel, I highly recommend checking out their restaurant or at least go to get a drink at the bar as you're enjoying the beautiful views of the Grand Canyon. And many famous people stay at that hotel, by the way, such as Theodore Roosevelt and Albert Einstein, just to name a few. But this Rails to the Grand Canyon package is a 5-day journey, 5 days, 4 nights, starting at $799. Again, that's a great value, folks, where you do the round trip onboard Amtrak Southwest Chief, 1 night to Williams and on the night back. You also include the round trip accommodations on board the Grand Canyon Railway, that Freedom Tour, and 2 meals when you're staying at the Grand Canyon. All that is provided for on this package. So again, great value for those who are looking to see the Grand Canyon next year. And folks, that's not all. We can also do what's called the Grand Canyon Zion National Park and Beyond package. This package starts and ends in Flagstaff. So for those of you who really want to, I may either take the Southwest Chief from California and stop in Flagstaff before you go back, or even vice versa, even in Chicago or anywhere else, we can definitely customize that for you and from your hometown or returning from your hometown station. So folks, this starts off in Flagstaff and ends in Flagstaff, where you'll be able to take the train from up to Grand Canyon National Park, stay there for 2 nights. We provide sightseeing tour experiences there, and then you'll be transferred from Grand Canyon to Springdale, where you'll be able to visit and see Zion National Park, Bryce Canyon, Capitol Reef National Parks before you head over to Moab. So you'll be able to visit the Mighty Five of those national parks in Utah. Then you'll see Arches and Canyonlands National Park while you're staying in Moab before you return journey back to Flagstaff. Folks, again, you'll be able to see the 7th wonder of the world, Grand Canyon National Park. You're going to see Zion National Park up close in person. Again, this is all part of the sightseeing experience. All those national park fees are included in the package. Arches and Canyonlands National Park, you'll also visit as well. And then, of course, the beautiful Bryce Canyon and Capitol Reef National Park. All this is included in the 7-day journey, 6 nights. And when you include 6 nights hotel accommodations, 2 nights in Grand Canyon, 2 nights in Springdale, and 2 nights in Moab, as well as a car rental to be able to use as well. Now, folks, I want to take you to Glacier National Park. So make sure you got your nice warm gear up as we're traveling to the Swiss Alps of the U.S. So Glacier National Park is definitely going to be one of our most popular sellers, and the reason why is because this national park is truly stunning. There's 26 glaciers located in Glacier National Park alone. But here's a little fact. With Glacier National Park, it's one of the only few national parks that's opened out for a short season, from beginning of June to the beginning of September. So if this is something you really want to do, we already are starting to hype in demand for Glacier National Park for next year. People are even rebooking their rail vacation packages with us to Glacier National Park for next year. So if this is something you want to do, I highly recommend you give us a call today at 1-800-268-7252. Again, that's the number at the bottom right corner of our screen, 1-800-268-7252. That is the number, or also contact your local travel advisor, and they'll make sure they can take care of that for you as well. But on board this trip, you'll be traveling on the famous Empire Builder train, folks. The Empire Builder route travels all the way from Chicago to Seattle or Portland. And by the way, folks, too, this route has a lot of history there. One of the original owner of the Empire Builder route, reason why he designed it, facts, was because he wanted to bring back goods from the Pacific Northwest to the Windy City of Chicago, and it was very difficult to do it by horseback and carriage. So what did he do? He was the Empire Builder, and he created this, iconic route that travels from Chicago to Seattle, Portland, to pick up those goods to take back to the Windy City. And folks, this 3-day, 2-night journey is something that is truly, it's well deserved. You'll be traveling through different passageways through the Cascade Mountain Range. You'll be traveling through different beautiful lakes and waterfalls, such as Lake Pend Oreille up in northern Idaho, and even all the way across into the beautiful state of Montana with those beautiful emerald alpine trees to Glacier National Park. And you'll be arriving in Glacier National Park literally at Glacier Park station there in East Glacier. And once you get off the train and in the station, you'll have about 200 steps away from the train station to the Glacier Park Lodge, which will be staying with us. By the way, folks, the Glacier Park Lodge has a total of 88 rooms, so this lodge does sell out very quickly. So if this is something you want to do, please let us know. We can make sure we can confirm it ahead of time. So please let us know on that, or when you speak to one of our rail experts. Also, too, folks, for those of you who say, hey, Tyler, I don't want to walk 200 steps. Again, I'm on vacation, remember? Oh, absolutely, folks. Don't worry about that. They also do provide free transportation from the lodge to the train station to pick you up. So don't worry about that. But, folks, on this journey, you'll also be able to do one of our popular excursions, which is the 2 Medicine Valley boat cruise, which you'll be able to explore all of Glacier National Park on this beautiful lake cruise. And then, not to mention, you'll also be doing our big Sky Circle tour, which is with one of those red historic jammer buses that travels going to the Sun Road. You'll see Goat Lick, St. Mary's Lake, and so much more. And folks, you also won't miss out on the beautiful local wildlife, such as bighorn sheep, bears, moose, you name it. All that will be found in Glacier National Park. and it's probably one of the most iconic journeys of all that Amtrak Vacations does sell. But Glacier National Park and Seattle is a 6-day journey starting at $1,498. Again, this is a great value, folks, for those of you who really want to be able to travel. Maybe, you know, your heart was set on going to Switzerland, but maybe you just don't want to fly or even taking a cruise over Switzerland next year. Why not see the Switzerland of the U.S. In Glacier National Park? This 3-night hotel accommodations are included in this package, 2 nights on board Amtrak's Empire Builder route round trip. We also provide the Big Sky Circle tour, 2 Madison Valley boat cruise, a wonderful dinner experience at Glacier National Park, and then also round trip accommodations. Again, that's on board Amtrak. Now, folks, we'll talk about the Glacier National Park Express package. So again, this is very similar to that previous package we had, except it starts off in Chicago. You'll stay there for 2 nights in Chicago, where we include sightseeing experiences, such as the architectural cruise, as you see here around Chicago. You'll be able to explore the Windy City, and then after time in Chicago, you'll be boarding the Empire Builder train as you're heading over westbound to Glacier National Park. That'll be on board the train for 1 night before you pull into Glacier National Park. And by the way, folks, they timed this out so perfectly so that when next morning you're actually traveling through the state of Montana and you're not missing out on any breathtaking scenery. I promise you that. So you'll be able to see all that route has to offer, and then then of course after time in Glacier National Park, you'll be boarding the Empire Builder train again, heading further west to Seattle, and then staying in Seattle for 2 nights, where you'll also have admission to the Space Needle and the Chihuly Garden Glass Museum, and also a sightseeing tour of Seattle. So 7-night hotel accommodations are included, 2 nights on board Amtrak. And folks, too, let's just say you were wanting to do something like this and maybe do it add on as a pre-cruise experience. Maybe those who want to do an Alaska cruise for next year, no problem. We can customize this or tailor this to what you're looking for. Or maybe you want to do something a little bit different that maybe you don't see on our today's presentation. Definitely give Amtrak Vacations a call. That way, of course, we can make sure we take good care of you and provide you with those services. But folks, I also want to talk about our grand national parks with Yellowstone, Yosemite, and Grand Canyon. So your folks are not just going to see 1, 2, but you're seeing 3 national parks. You're taking 3 of the most iconic rail routes that Amtrak has to offer. So first, folks, this package does start in Chicago. Keep in mind, we can go to any of the other 500 plus Amtrak stations around the US to start this package if you wish to. Again, we can even make it reverse or flip it around, wherever you like, we could do that. But of course, it starts in Chicago, it ends in Chicago. You'll be boarding the famous California Zephyr train from Chicago, heading westbound to Salt Lake City. You'll be seeing the beautiful Colorado Rockies as you're traveling through Denver over to Glenwood Springs and Grand Junction along the route. So your eyes are going to definitely be glued to those windows. You may even see your dream house on the top of the hill there. So just again, a wonderful picturesque view on this journey. You'll then arrive into Salt Lake City and then stay 1 night there. Again, a hotel accommodations provided with us. Then we will transport you up to Yellowstone National Park, where they'll stay there for 2 nights. And again, the 2-night accommodations are provided for. And again, this is inside the national park. And then we'll also provide a sightseeing experience of Yellowstone before you head back down to Salt Lake City. And then you'll then before you board the California Zephyr train, you'll also have a dinner experience provided for, where you'll be having a rooftop dinner experience over all of Salt Lake City. So again, a great way to kind of end your journey there in Utah before you reboard the California Zephyr train. And then you'll be traveling even further west to the High Sierra Nevadas before you pull into the Bay Area of San Francisco, where you'll then stay there for 2 nights. And we also provide a day trip experience from San Francisco to Yosemite National Park. And then after your time in San Francisco, you'll be boarding another personal favorite train of mine, the Coast Starlight train, and you'll be traveling during the day as you're hugging the Pacific coast. You'll see popular places such as Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, just to name a few, and some of the different state beaches in California, which again, you're literally right on the coastline there. You'll see everything from the beautiful California beaches, dolphins in the distance, even maybe seeing some sea otters playing in the right on the water there. And then you'll arrive in Los Angeles Union Station, staying there for 1 night before you reboard the Southwest Chief, heading over to Williams, Arizona, right on the Route 66 there, before you head over to Grand Canyon National Park, and then, of course, end the journey with us on the Southwest Chief back up to Chicago. But you'll see everything in Yellowstone National Park has to offer, such as the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. You'll see the Painting Pot, Old Faithful. You'll even see popular points of interest when it comes to seeing local wildlife, and all of that has to offer. And then that Yosemite National Park day tour, folks, you'll be able to visit El Capitan, Half Dome, Mariposa Grove to see the big, huge redwood trees, so much more. Again, all of this will be included in that day trip to Yosemite. And then, of course, you can't miss out on the famous Grand Canyon Railway train as you head up to the south rim of the Grand Canyon for your 24-hour night stay as you're visiting the beautiful Grand Canyon National Park, which is the 7th wonder of the world. Again, that number 7 is huge. And then, of course, folks, this is a 13-day, 12-night journey starting at $3,049. All the sightseeing tours and experiences are included in this package, as you see here, as well as round-trip Amtrak accommodations to and from Chicago. Now, folks, you're probably asking, well, Tyler, what does customization mean? Well, I'll tell you. As I mentioned before, we can do any round trip rail vacation to and from your hometown. Maybe you say, hey, you know what, Tyler, I just want to do the train one way and then fly back another. Absolutely, no problem. You can definitely take a look at that with us. We also add on any destinations or add on any additional nights included in the package if you wish to do so. Say, hey, maybe I want more time in Glacier or Yellowstone or even Grand Canyon National Park. No problem. We can definitely do that for you folks, as well as we can upgrade any of our private sleeping accommodations on board the train, such as maybe upgrading to a roomette or a bedroom, whatever you're looking for. We can take care of that for you. And then also hotels, we have a plethora to choose from when it comes to 3, 4, and 5-star options for any of our hotels. We can even add on any additional sightseeing tours, transfers, and more. So again, there's a lot we can offer with Amtrak Vacations. But folks, I really want to talk about our maximum flexibility offer. So this is also our peace of mind offer, as I sometimes call it. For any of you folks who are maybe on the verge or on the fence saying, hey, you know, I don't know if I want to take a train trip this year, Tyler, but, you know, talk to me. What's the maximum flexibility offer like? I'll tell you. Number one, any of you folks who really want to be able to travel next year and, you know, you're just still on the edge or on that fence there, take advantage of this maximum flexibility offer. I highly recommend it because any new reservation you make with us between now and December 31st, so again, for a limited time only, now and December 31st, you can be able to have that peace of mind knowing if you need to change your travel dates or even cancel your rail vacation with us, you can be able to do so up to 5 days prior to departure. That's right, 5 days prior to departure, folks. And we are waiving all change or cancellation fees at this time. And for those of you who are maybe already booked on an Amtrak vacation experience with us, any existing reservations can we schedule up to 5 days prior to departure, folks, without incurring any change or cancellation fees too. So all penalties and cancellation fees are waived at this time. Now, folks, that leads to my second question for you folks. How many of you are wanting to do something unique next year? Maybe you really, you've never done an Amtrak trip before, and this is why you're joining today's presentation. How many of you folks, this is my question, how many of you folks have never ridden the train before? Oh, perfect, awesome, great, thank you so much. How many of you, okay, keep them coming, folks, keep them coming. Some of you said no, yep, okay, great, keep them coming, awesome. Yep, as we continue seeing those pile on in there, folks. Okay, thanks, Scott. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of you folks have maybe done Amtrak a trip with us before, or even in the past. Oh, even wow, Janet's even leaving in 2 weeks. Awesome. I think you got a wonderful trip. By the way, I'll have to share with you, Janet, very quickly. I'm actually doing an Amtrak vacation for my wife in a few weeks. We're going over to Yellowstone and Grand Teton National Park. So I think she's gonna love it. But I have to say, I've done Amtrak before myself. I love it, and even I've traveled internationally with rail bookers. So again, a great opportunity. Oh, wonderful, great, thank you so much. Keep them coming, folks. Well, folks, I have to say, traveling to on board the train is a really unique experience at that. But I also want to share with you folks what it's like packing for the train. And Amtrak is very generous. I want to share with you on that. Amtrak's very generous when it comes to traveling by train. So every passenger is able to bring on 2 free carry-on bags, 2 free checked bags. So if you have, of course, if you're a person who likes to pack heavy, my wife, I'm just kidding. But yes, any one of you can be able to bring on 2 free carry-on bags, 2 checked bags as well on board with no additional cost too. So I don't know if you like free, but I like free. So just to definitely take advantage of that. Also, luggage can be checked 45 minutes prior to departure, folks. It's different than traveling on an airplane. For those of you who maybe traveled on an airplane before, you have to arrive there an hour and a half before, checking your luggage, go through the security checks, take off your shoes, your hats, all that good stuff. You don't have to worry about that by traveling by train. We make traveling by train easy, folks. Easy, easy peasy breezy. So all that, of course, makes it a wonderful trip and journey onboard Amtrak as you're traveling to your destination. But life on board Amtrak is definitely an experience at that. So of course, folks, we're going to talk about some of the accommodations on board. But I do want to mention to you folks that on board the train, there are what's called coach class accommodations. So coach class is like sitting in business class or first class on a domestic flight. You have that 405-degree angle, of course, relaxation there on the chair there, of course, reclines. All these are plush seats, so of course you'll have that comfortability there, as well as a footrest. You may not be able to see it on my screen, but you do have also access to a footrest. You have a big picturesque window, air conditioning, reading lights, electrical outlets as well. So if you want to plug in your laptop, your iPad, or even like your cell phone, you can do that as well. And then you also have access to the dining car, and then also the observation dome car. But that's where you'll be able to purchase meals or snacks in the either in the lounge car or in the dining car as well. Priority separate boarding, folks, for those of you are want to maybe upgrade to a sleeping accommodation, which I highly recommend during this time. Actually, we're seeing quite a bit of demand for these sleeping compartments, and they're really starting to sell out when it comes to for next year. So just an interesting fact for you folks. Right now, as I mentioned before, on board the train, they're only filling up to 50% capacity. So again, make sure you do give us a call in advance to make sure we can schedule that for you. But with upgrading to a sleeping accommodation, you get priority boarding. So such as like first class or business class on a plane, you do get priority access when you upgrade to a sleeper. And also it's helped to practice social distancing at this time. So all that's taken care of when you do upgrade. Not to mention, folks, for those of you are thinking about, well, should I travel in coach or maybe a sleeper? Hopefully, maybe this might seal the deal. But if those of you who may not feel comfortable wearing a mask or whatever it may be, on board the train with a coach class, you are having to wear your mask, but in your own private compartment, you are able to remove your mask with the privacy of your cabin, and also that door does come with a lockable door in the inside. So just again, a great way for you to realize that not only are you practicing social distancing, but you have your own private sleeping quarters, and then also, of course, privacy with this on board with social distancing. Dedicated car attendants are also there to take care of you throughout the journey, including toiletries, bottled water service, and even coffee. All that's taken care of for you, as well as even turn down service when it comes to taking care of your bed. So on board the train, the first sleeping accommodation is the roomette, folks. And I've actually done the roomette last year with my wife as we traveled up on the Coast Starlight train up to Seattle. Again, a great journey and experience. On board, you'll be traveling in, again, these are your own private sleeping compartment. You have 2 seats facing one another during the day. And then, of course, your cabin steward will take care of the bunk bed style at night, which will, again, be transformed for you. So you don't have to worry about that. But in your cabin, of course, you also have reading lights, power outlets. You also have your own little mini closets. If you want to hang up like a jacket or a shirt, you could be able to do that. You also, of course, have a fold-out table. So if you want to maybe play a game of cards or watch, TV. My wife and I actually, we watched Frasier. Ironically enough, we watched Frasier as we were heading up to Seattle. So a great way to start off our trip when we were traveling overnight. So again, this is a great way for you to upgrade. And then also, too, folks, your private shower and restroom facilities are across the hall. So again, all of those are included when you upgrade it to a sleeping accommodation. And then, folks, again, as you see, it's very comfortable at night, and again, very spacious when it comes to those accommodations on board the train. And folks, for those of you maybe want a little bit more space on board in your sleeping compartment, then we definitely recommend upgrading to the bedroom. The bedroom right now is actually very much in popular demand. Why? Because, of course, it's a little bit bigger, and also you have your own private bathroom and shower included in the cabin. So if that's something you're looking for, definitely check that out and call us today so that we can make sure we can reschedule that for you. But on board, you'll have your own couchette during the day, a captain's chair. As you see there, that gentleman looks really comfortable in his captain's chair. And then also at night, it does come with a bunk bed style at night, and of course, so you can make sure you have a wonderful night's sleep. And then on board, as you can see here, very comfortable, very spacious. You have your own private vanity, private bathroom with shower included as well, and a big picturesque window to be able to enjoy those views as you're traveling to our popular destinations in U.S. national parks. But also, folks, maybe you are traveling, maybe you have a little additional need assistance. The accessible bedroom is definitely for you folks out there that need additional assistance. This is, of course, a great option for those who maybe are have a difficulty climbing up the stairs, or maybe need a wheelchair. This is a great option for you folks. And then, of course, the cabin steward is there to take care of your every need as you're traveling on board Amtrak. So, of course, it's a lower berth at night for that passenger, and then another passenger who maybe is a little bit more flexible can go up to the top bunk as well. Or this is a good option for those who are traveling solo. And there's also an ADA restroom and shower facility located as well on board. So for all of you folks who may not realize, but with upgrading to a sleeper accommodation, all of your meals are included. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner are included on board the train. And right now on board with Amtrak, they're offering what's called flexible dining. So flexible dining means, folks, you can either enjoy your meal in the comforts of your cabin, or you can go to the dining car. So of course, they'll schedule times to be able to sit you if you wish to sit in the dining car, or if not, you can enjoy your meal in the comfort of your cabin, which is something you can definitely do. But on board, as I mentioned before, there's flexible dining. So everything, of course, is a wonderful menu option to choose from, all prepared on board Amtrak. And also there is vegetarian options for those of you who maybe are looking for a more veggie friendly option. And folks, also too, when you do upgrade to a sleeping accommodation, I want to mention to you folks, you can also bring on your own alcohol beverages. They just must be consumed in your compartment, nowhere else on the train. But you are able to do that at no trouble there. I was actually able to bring on 2 Napa Valley red wine bottles for my wife and I to share as we're heading up the California coast. It was wonderful, along with the cheese plate. So again, you can be able to do that if you wish to. And then also, folks, for right now with Amtrak, they are offering a free alcohol beverage for your first meal, and then everything else is additional. But non-alcohol beverages are, of course, free when you are with your meal. So also for you folks, I want to mention that there's everyday discounts that you can be able to be applicable for. So any children under the age of 2 up to 12 are able to receive 50% off discount for the rail portion with us. Seniors, so anyone of you are 65 and older, can also be able to take advantage of this great discount, 10% off on the rail. And for those of you who are active or retired military, I just want to say from all of us to you, thank you so much for serving and defending our country and our nation. So if you don't mind, folks, I wish to say those of you who have served in our armed forces, please just give me a special shout out saying, hey, yes, I served. Thank you so much. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you for your service. Thank you for any of you who have served in our nation's military. And also you two folks are not forgotten. You do receive a special discount for that as well. So thank you for those who've served. But I also want to say, folks, we have some upcoming webinars coming up here in the next month, which will be on January 12th and 13th. We'll talk about overnight rail journeys with Amtrak vacations. We'll even talk about on January 19th and the 20th, Grand Canyon and Glacier National Park, a little bit more on those particular packages in detail with Amtrak vacations. Now, folks, my last question to you today. I promise, and we're near the end, and I'm going to schedule some time at the end to be able to answer your questions in detail. So which destinations are you interested in, and when are you looking to travel? So if you don't mind sharing, folks, which destinations are you interested in, and where and when are you looking to travel? Oh, perfect, Glacier National Park, wonderful. Keep them coming, folks, keep them coming. I'd love to know Montero. Okay, thank you, William. Wonderful. Oh, I think you meant Montana. Okay, great. Anyone else, folks? I definitely loved. Oh, perfect. Seattle and Portland. Great, great, great. Glacier in July. All of them. Oh, great. Thanks, Sherry. I love that. Trust me, I love all of them too. All of them, great. Keep them coming, folks. Keep them coming. San Diego, I love it. Oh, I love San Diego. Yosemite, great, Susan. Keep them coming, folks. Glacier, yep. Grand Canyon, North Dakota, yep, absolutely. Wonderful. Keep them coming, folks. I love it. I love it. By the way, folks, if you can't already tell, I'm a huge rail enthusiast, so I love talking about rail vacation packages and destinations. I think this 2021 is definitely going to be the year for those of you who are looking to do a more unique way of travel, and train is definitely going to be for you. So, folks, I do want you to know that at the end of the presentation, you will receive a recording of this webinar, so that way, of course, you can be able to look over anything that you may have missed, or maybe join on for us a little bit later today. But I did want to schedule some time to answer any questions you may have. But for those of you who just want to write down this number, our rail experts are here to help and serve you. And we also provide instant quoting. So even if you're in the research stage, you just want to get a price, please give us a call. That way, of course, we can be able to assist you. And you'd be surprised what type of special promotions are out there at this time that you could take advantage of that are for a limited time only. That number is 1-800-268-7252. 1-800-268-7252. And maybe, folks, maybe you're looking to travel internationally for next year. Definitely check out Rail Bookers. Rail Bookers is our international brand, as I mentioned before in the beginning of the presentation. That number is 1-888 1-888-829-3040. Again, the number is 1-888-829-3040. So with the rail bookers, you could travel to Alaska, Canada, Europe, Asia, Africa, and beyond. It's all internationally by train. Again, we can be able to take care of that for you folks if you're looking to travel internationally for next year. So again, I want to say thank you to that for those of you who joined today. So now I want to answer take some time to answer any questions you may have. Let's see here. Let's see. Wonderful. That's a great question. So I'm going to talk with, say, Brandy and Gotti. I hope I pronounced that correctly. How much are the upgrades for the roomette? That is a great question. So number one, of course, Brandy, it's all based upon supply and demand. So all pricing is live dynamic pricing. What that means is basically Amtrak deals with a bucket tiered system. So when you can start off with the lowest price if you book out way far in advance, but the sooner you're closer to departure, it could be a different price and more likely be more expensive. So what I recommend for you, Brandy, if you do want to upgrade to a roomette, I recommend that you do book as far as advanced as possible with us, so that way we can make sure you get you the best price. It could be anywhere from a few $100s. I have seen it go up to almost $1,000 before, and that's again for someone who's traveling last minute. But Brandy, that's a great question. Also, let's see here. Let's see. Can we replay this webinar later? Absolutely, that is a great question. Yes, you are able to get a recording of this webinar, so if you do want to watch later, you are able to do that. So thank you so much, Jesse, for asking that question. Let's see here. Diane Ross, only 50% capacity? That is correct. All trains right now are only filling up to 50% capacity, and that's just, again, followed by the guidelines of the CDC. Wonderful. How long will we commit to keeping how long are we able to commit to 50% capacity? I'm so sorry, Diane. So yes, that is something that they are, putting in place at this time. I don't know when they'll bring back full, of course, full capacity. But of course, right now it is at 50% capacity, and we'll of course keep you up to date, folks, as much as we can. So great question. Want to know, see here, Jennifer Lau said, want to know if you'll be doing Amtrak vacations on the East Coast. That is a great question, Jennifer. Absolutely. So we have a lot of great rail vacation packages in the East Coast. Probably some of our most popular is Savannah, Charleston, Savannah, getaway trip. That's a really great one. Even for those of you folks who maybe want to travel down to Florida, we've seen that quite a bit. Even for next year going over to Washington, D.C. Is another great one. And even maybe those of folks who really want to visit Niagara Falls on the New York side, we can also take care of that as well. That's a great question. Thank you. Let's see here. Let's see. Sorry, folks, I'm just going up here at the beginning. Okay, and I think there was a question in the very beginning for that one person was asking regards to, let's see, guided tours. That's a great question. Do tours, do your tour guides, do tour guides on these journeys, how involved, interactive are? That's a great question. So very quickly to answer that for you, Tony, is that so this is a full independent rail vacation experience. So there won't be a tour guide with you per se. It's not like you're a part of a group of 40+ people. So you are traveling independently on your own. But of course, we take care of everything for you. Now, there are, of course, times where you are with a guide on like one of our sightseeing excursions, like going to the Grand Canyon or Yellowstone, just to name a few. You are with a guided tour group. And right now, of course, they're following safety protocols by limiting how many people are on that tour group. So, of course, that is sometimes you are with a guide, but on the train or driving, wherever you may be doing with us, that is on your own. So it is full independent rail vacation travel. So great question. What size luggage can you have in the bedrooms? That was from Janet Rupp. That is a great question. So I know I don't have the dimensions offhand. I do say though, of course, you can bring up to 50 pounds. I think that's 2 check bags up to 50 pounds, where you can be able to get that free checked in, so you don't have to worry about that. And you can check in 45 minutes prior to departure. That is a great question, Janet. And also to feel free to call any of our rail experts if you want more further information on those luggage requirements. And you could also check out our luggage requirements on www.amtrakvacations.com. There is a luggage requirement tab that you can be able to check out as well. So wonderful, folks. And folks, I just want to let you know, I know I'm almost running out of time here, but if you do have any last minute questions, I would be more than happy to answer that for you. Let's see here. Great question. Let's see here from Scott Miller. Can you stay longer at any stops than catch another train to continue your journey? So that's a great question, Scott, and that's kind of an open question, but I will say this. So for those of you we've gotten this request in the past, can I get off the train and reboard again after a couple hours? On some of those like local trains, like the Northeast Regional, the Acel Express, you can do that. That is a possibility. However, on some of those longer overnight distance trains, like the California Zephyr, the Coast Starlight, even the Empire Builder train, when you get off that train, you won't see the other train until the next day. Or right now, some train services are only running 3 times a week. So if you get off that train, be prepared to stay there for a night or longer. And again, we could, of course, take care if you want to stay at a specific destination or location, let any of our Amtrak Vacations rail experts know, so that way we can be able to plan out your personal itinerary. We can take care of that. If you do want to get off the train and explore in that destination, we can definitely do that. So wonderful, wonderful. Let's see here. Let's see, any other questions? Great question. This is from Sarat Kuchipudi. Do we have any food allergy precautions? That's a great question. So on board the train, if you do have any food allergies or any dietary restrictions, please let your Amtrak rail expert know with Amtrak Vacations, or even let your travel advisor know. So that way, of course, we are aware of those food allergies or even dietary requirements. That way, of course, we can let the Amtrak know ahead of time. That way, of course, we can make sure we can plan that out accordingly and make sure we follow to those guidelines. But folks, here, I know there's still a lot of great questions out there. I'm going to, of course, have one of our rail experts reach out personally to you before the business day today, if not earliest is tomorrow. So that way, of course, we can answer any additional questions you may have. But folks, if you have any other questions, please feel free to also give us a call at 1-800-268-7252. That is our Amtrak Vacations line. Our rail experts are here to serve you. And I also appreciate you joining me today on our wonderful travel agent training webinar. Again, have a train-tastic day. Hear from all of us at Amtrak Vacations, Rail Bookers, and Yankee Holidays. Take care now, everyone. Bye-bye.